Welcome to Veterans Project. My name is John Eberhardt, and with me today is William Wisk, Specialist 4th Class, United States Army. Welcome, Bill.
Welcome, John. I'm glad to be here, John.
Well, we're going to start your story where all stories start, and that's where you were born.
Oh, I was born in Elizabeth. I know I live in Woodbridge, but I was born, see, I moved. So anyway, I was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Born and raised there, and then grew up, went to high school. I went to high school, it's Edison Trade School, so I went through woodworking. You know, they had machine shops, they had everything. But I was woodworking, and I graduated there, and I graduated in June. February comes, I get this notice in the mail. Uncle Sam needs you. So we go to Newark, naturally. We had to go to Newark for a physical and all of this here. And right after that, I'm finding myself, my brothers had to take me down to Fort Dix, because that's where we had to all report to Fort Dix. So we did basic training in Fort Dix.
Right, that was that recruit training. Now, so it was in February, right after you graduated high school.
Yeah.
Something unusual, I think you had mentioned the fact that you weren't the only one from your graduating class.
You know, our graduating class was pretty big. You know, I'm going to say with the whole school, I'm going to say close to 200 people.
That's a big class.
Well, guess what? When I went to basic training, would you believe almost 3/4 or maybe a third, 2/3 of the class was right there with me taking basic training.
So it was almost like you were back in high school.
It was. So at least at Fort Dix, we knew one another. Even though we weren't in the same units, we were in the same place, where as we were marching up and down the field, we could see each other.
You could see a friendly face.
Yeah. So
and I assume that's because you were all the same, because of age group, you were in that same block number.
Right. A lot of them didn't, the only ones that didn't go to basics was either they had medical excuses or they were going to college.
The 2S classification.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So, but I made it through there.
You did, and during basic training, that's your indoctrination.
Mm-hmm.
You just give us an idea of what the Army did to convert you from a civilian to a soldier.
Well, first of all, they get right in your face and holler at you. I mean, they really
nose to nose.
Yeah, holler at you, and I'm telling you, you get no time to yourself. You're lucky you have. You know, they say go take a shower and you're in and out, and wait, we got to do something else. Keep going. It was constantly moving. The real thing I kept saying is, why we got to do so many push-ups? Because if you get hollered at, more push-ups. It was always push-ups.
That was your punishment.
Yeah, that was the punishment. Every once in a while, you saw one guy with his rifle over top of his head running around the parking lot.
So you had very little leisure time. It was all
very leisure. You know, none, hardly any at all. And actually, even if you did have time, if your number come up and you could call home, you only had like 10 minutes to. First of all, you had to stand in line to use these phones, and you know, because it was all you had to do was hit the numbers and you would call home. Hopefully somebody was home to pick you up.
Sure, they wouldn't know ahead of time that you were
nobody
calling,
yeah, right. Nobody knew when.
So you had
when your time was, nobody knew. But I'm telling you, it was rough. If you see those DIs on TV where they get up into your face and holler and scream and what are you smirking about? You know,
that's real.
That's real. That is real. And if there's a guy in your platoon that's not up to par with everybody, I mean, they ride him really bad, really bad. You really feel sorry for him.
But you're also thankful it's not you.
Absolutely. You think every once in a while, if I didn't have my button the way we dressed, I'm telling you, we had fatigues and everything. If it wasn't iron, or if your boots wasn't shine, and unbelievable, shiny boots, and then we go walk in the sand for a mile or two.
For our audience, Di is drill instructor, but
Yeah.
they were. Your shiny boots would be 2 minutes in the sand and it's done.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's how it was. Boot camp wasn't a vacation.
Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite.
Quite the opposite.
So after boot camp or recruit training, I think as they prefer to call it, you're designated to another station to some sort of training.
Yeah, a lot of it, whatever you were doing. See, in basic training, they teach you the basics. Meaning they give you a rifle, you learn how to break it down, you learn how to put it together, you learn how to fire with it, you learn how to be good with it. And then when they break this down for other people, some of them went for artillery training, some of them. See, I graduated from, I was a woodworker, so a trade school, so they sent me to Fort Knox, Kentucky.
So you were assigned to Fort Knox.
I was assigned to Fort Knox, and actually I was assigned to it was like a shop, a woodworking shop, but we did everything. Whatever anybody needed something, I'm telling you, we made wooden rifles, we made wooden, everything. Whatever they needed, we made it. We even made wooden tanks, silhouettes, and because they use them for, instead of blowing up a good tank,
a couple $1 million tank.
They blow up because the tanks. And one day I was invited out to the range, and because the whole group from us. And they were target practicing out there with the tanks. And these were the new tanks. They were huge, and I'm telling you, holy moly. And so we were around it. We watched the tanks maneuver and came up on the hill. And this their range was, I'm going to say, maybe 3 miles.
Wow.
3 miles in this, and you saw things here and here that was all burnt up and stuff. Then when they brought out some of the wooden,
the ones that were going to get blown up.
Yeah, the one. Anyway, I was able to get. I'm going to say. We were standing on the other side of the tank, and the one of the guys that come by, he says, "You guys better move." Maybe about 20 feet back because of the concussion. And I'm telling you, when those weapons went off, wow, you didn't know which way to go, because it pushes you and then it pulls you. It really, if you weren't careful, you'd be laying on the ground. So I really felt bad about those guys in that tank to do that,
Sure.
because the boom was so loud, and and the concussion, like I said, it was something to experience.
Now, in addition to tanks, Fort Knox is also known for housing some valuables of the country.
Yeah,
it's gold.
Yeah.
And did you have anything to do with the gold?
Yeah. When I first got there, I was thinking they were going to give me samples, but that didn't work.
No.
We got to guard the gold. Well, actually, there's a building in the middle of Fort Knox. There is a building right in the middle. There is roads all around it, and we got barbed wire and everything around this one big building. And there's only one entrance in and one out, and they told me that's where all the gold is. So I got to guard it.
Wow.
So I got to guard the gold. Well, the building, I'm saying.
That house, the gold,
I was wishing they would just divvy some out, but no. And we had, like, I'm going to say 25, you only guard in one part of the building.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, on each side of the building, you got 3 soldiers, and you walk back and forth, and you got to say hello to the other one to make sure he's the same guy you saw before.
Right.
And until they had the changing of the guard. And you were there, I'm telling you, you were there for about 2 hours. You know,
So
just
2-hour
walking back
duty.
and forth, yeah. And so, but I never did see it, but they told me about it.
There was gold somewhere. There's gold in those buildings.
But yeah, and it's a fancy building too. I actually went online and looked at it now. There's no more barbed wire around it, you know, and stuff.
They
But
cleaned
it's
it up
just
a
a
little.
building, and it's pretty. So it's a good-looking building.
Now, that obviously was not your last duty
No. My
station.
job was to build things. Like I said,
Right.
we built. If you ever looked at to train with bayonets on the end of your rifle, we built those silhouettes. We built the dummies that stayed there and they have the sticks out there. You're supposed to hit them aside. So whatever they needed, we built. Like if they needed. One time we built even like little buildings,
Okay.
you know, and it was and we had to build it. It was maybe as the size of this rug, with little buildings, because they were going to train with that. So then I find out that those little buildings, they study the guys that go into it. They study how to get around these buildings and everything, and then they have the real setups where they go, and then they go and you know, learn their profession.
Right.
So, you know, so we help them out.
So this sounds like a good gig. It'd be great to finish
It was
your
good,
career
but
there.
I tell you what, it was a dry town.
Okay.
What's that mean? That means the only liquor or beer around was right in your
The EM Club.
the
Yep.
GM club.
Right.
So
Enlisted
anyway,
Men's
but
Club,
the
yeah.
outside, they were all dry towns. So I took up golf while I was there.
It was that boring a place that you took off for golf.
Yeah. So when I wasn't working, but we worked. You know, we worked like 15 hours a day. You know, so we didn't get bored. But when you did have that little time off, you couldn't go no place. You had no cars. You had no, there was a bus.
That was it.
That was it. So.
But now, so that's obviously not your permanent duty station.
No. I'm telling you, I was there maybe 6 months or maybe 7.
So you're at Fort Knox. It's not going to be there permanently. Did they give you any time off before you got?
Yes, actually, I got my orders to go to Vietnam, and they give you like 30 days off, maybe 22, in around there. I you know, it's been close to
A little while ago.
a few years. So anyway, so all you're thinking about, you're not thinking about where they're sending you.
You're going home.
You're going home.
Yeah.
So actually, I was able to get on a plane and got right to Newark. But when I got home, my sister lives close. My mom was still there. My other brothers were not far away.
Nice.
Guess what? I called them all up one after another.
Sure.
Nobody was home. I had to take a cab home.
Oh.
From the airport.
wow.
So I took a cab home, and then when I got home, still nobody there. So I actually had to open the window on the back porch to get in.
But what a great surprise when they saw you when they came home.
Oh yeah, the dog even remembered me. The
Nice.
dog remembered me. You know, I'm looking at the dog. Her name was Butch, but she let me in the house.
So it was a nice leave. You
Oh,
didn't
it
have
was a
thoughts
wonderful leave. It was actually, it was so nice, you know, just to because remember, you're shipped out there. You don't know nobody. You don't know. You're going on your own, and you would think you see other people in uniform, and you would, you know, but you know, they're just like you. They don't know nobody.
And for all intents and purposes, you're still a kid. You're
Right.
Yeah,
Think about it.
you're
I'm
a
still
kid.
19 years
Yeah.
old, you know. So then, I'm telling you, that was fabulous to be home all that time. And I did a lot too with my nieces and nephews and stuff like that. But the time came I had to go. We went to Oakland, California. They put me on a plane. I had to go register for it. We all had to go register for it. By the time we got to the airport and everything, you know, it was all soldiers getting on these planes.
Now it's sinking in. What was the mood in Oakland?
Well, the mood when you got to Oakland, quiet.
Okay.
Quiet. Nobody's really talking. You know, they're worried.
Yeah, exactly.
Where we're going.
Exactly. What's going to happen
But anyway,
next?
but so we got over that. That was, and actually we were there for about 2 days.
In Oakland.
In Oakland, before they divvy us to make sure we sat on these planes. And actually, it was a commercial plane we went on.
Okay.
And I'm going to say almost 300 people fit on that plane, because it was a big plane where you had the 3 seats on both sides and really long. But the scariest thing is when you, well, we stopped over in Hawaii. And I'm saying, oh, good.
Oh, sure. Let me go get something.
We're going to
go to the beach.
See Hawaii. We were there 6 hours. That I couldn't believe it. 6 hours. So we were confined to one little building here.
Didn't even leave the airport.
No. And we left our stuff on board, so you were just walking off the plane. You get a little exercise.
Go get a soda, get
back. And they told you to just walk around, just keep moving, because the next time we stop is going to be, you know, and 22 hours I think it took us. So anyway, so we got back on that plane and we flew into Cameron Bay. And listen, I didn't know where we were flying into. All I know is the plane was going to land, and we were tired of sitting on that plane, you know. So anyway, but the real scary part was getting off that plane. The sergeants would come on board, and they said, you got to grab everything. Grab all your stuff, your duffel bag, everything. You're responsible for everything. When you get down this ramp, you have to run. You run to the closest building. We got it all marked. You got to run. I'm telling you, you just hit that door, just going down the steps, and what do you see? You see Jeeps with 50 caliber machine guns on it, and they're lighting up the way for you to run to this building. And I'm telling you, you could see flashes, because it was at night.
Right.
You could see flashes in the distance, and you're saying, what the heck am I doing here?
Welcome to Vietnam.
Yeah, it was terrible. We ran to this building. I mean, hey, there was some guys we had to pick up and take them because they couldn't move.
Oh yeah, the nerves.
Yeah. So anyway, we got into the building, and now everything is setting in. That's when you don't know what to do. You don't know. You're listening to some guy. He thinks he's telling you something, but you don't hear him.
It's in one ear and out the other.
You do not hear him. You do not. So they're really asking. Then you go in to another room where they show you a film of the president welcoming you here, what your job is going to be, you know, Lyndon Johnson, you know, and he's telling you what your job is here, why you're here, and you know, and he's saying that, but you know, it's not sinking in, you know, because hey, we just ran through Jeeps with 50 caliber machine guns, guys all over the place,
shells going off,
rifles, and you could see light in the sky, and it wasn't lightning.
Right.
So anyway, but that's where and we stayed there. They didn't know what to do with us, at first, so they were just spreading us out where we can at least bed down for the night and stuff like that. So really, Cameron Bay, and it was hot. I'm telling you, it was hot. We got off that plane. Whoa, you're running into heat. I mean,
right.
Heat.
So that, was the airport under constant attack? Was it?
Well, I don't know. All I know is we can see that.
Right. Now the plane didn't hang out there.
No. Look, that plane. I'm telling you, we got close to the building. All of us. I was sitting close to the back of the plane too, so I was really the last ones out. So as soon as we got off that plane locked the door and whoop, taxied out, and it was taken off.
They were long gone. Yes. Sure.
They were taken off before. We even said hi inside the building. Unbelievable. I said, didn't it need gas?
They were going to get it somewhere else. They weren't going to get it there.
Right, yeah. So, but anyway, so Cameron Bay, I had duty. They had the ships all out in the morning. We were all divvied up to do little jobs. So
right.
my group and everything, we were sent right to the bay. We were unloading, but it was good. It was PX stuff.
Oh, okay, sure.
So, see, the big ships were out there. You could see the ships, and then these little, they would load it onto those little boats,
the Liberty
ships,
boat, right?
And bring it into the shore, and we would have to unload it from there into this big barge and separate it all, and then load trucks. So that was our job. I'm telling you, it was so hot, and I'm light skinned, so I had to wear. And if you get sunburned, that's against you.
Oh yeah,
they can arrest you against
damaging
sunburn.
Government property.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I had to wear my coat and well, not the coat, the jacket, with it buttoned all the way up, the sleeves all the way down. I had to wear the gloves and the hat, and it was hot. I'm telling you, there wasn't a dry spot on you when you got done. And this went on for days doing that. And then they decided, oh, he's got orders to go up north. I said, how far?
Yes, yeah.
So anyway, they started moving us because more troops were coming in.
Right.
The next 3 days or so, more troops were coming in. So they had to get us moving, because... So I had orders just to go north. That's all I could read anyway. I was going north.
That was enough. Yeah.
So anyway, we took helicopters from there, and then we went on trucks. Then, like I'm saying, it was hot the whole time we were there. We took helicopters so far, and then we took trucks. I ended up on K.
How was the countryside as you're going through Vietnam?
Actually, it was a beautiful countryside, except for where there was things all burnt down, and like the whole villages wiped out and stuff like that. But otherwise, when you're driving through there, actually it's better from the air.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Pretty country.
There was wild animals there.
Wow.
I saw an elephant.
Oh, wow.
And
So
there
it is
was
beautiful,
live
yeah.
tigers there too. Monkeys were all over the place.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, I got to Anke, and they still didn't know what to do with it. That was where the 1st Air Cavalry Division unit was.
Okay.
And it was also the medevac. They're right next to one another there. So anyway, so they put me in medevac there for a while. And I'm saying, I can put Band-Aids on.
Sure, I can figure that out, yeah.
So anyway, they assigned me to this one group, and I was supposed to be standby door gunner. But just to get me used to it, they told me, come over here, you're going tonight. I said, tonight? What am I? So anyway, they strap you right in,
Okay.
So you can't fall, because I'm telling you, the helicopter rides are not smooth.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not commercial.
They're not smooth, and if you hit an air pocket, you fall. Your stomach goes up to your chin, and I'm telling you, but you can't fall out of the helicopter. I would be going in. We go in first. We would spray the area when we have to pick up wounded. I would just spray the area. You know, just hit to keep everybody's head down. And then the other helicopter would be right behind us. They would go right in, pick up the wounded, and they would be out. And then I would spray the area again and get back out. I'm telling you, that first, when I was grabbing hold of that, I wasn't letting it go for nothing.
No.
I'm telling you, your whole body is shaking,
I'm sure.
everything. You don't know what you're shooting at, and it's unbelievable. So then we get out of there, and then we get back. You know, once they get the wounded out and everything, you know, the helicopters are made of all aluminum.
Right.
Their floors are just aluminum. It's got some non-skip stuff on there. But when you're bringing in wounded, I mean, it gets dirty.
Right.
You really have to. We were taking muddy water that is used, because there is no running water over there. There is.
Right.
We had so the dirty water we would use and scrub the helicopter. You know, you had to wash the blood and stuff
Sure.
out of the helicopter. You couldn't keep it like that, because just the flies over there would eat the next group.
And basic hygiene, sure.
Yeah, it was terrible. So that was another one of my jobs while I was in the medevac. But I didn't stay there too long, because then I saw them building like offices and putting up walls, and I said, you know, I could do that. I went to the captain.
That's my job.
Hey, I could do that. So he said, yeah. Okay, you're staying here. The next day they said, we love to keep you. But you got to go to 15 admin company. But it was right next to each other, you know, just jump on the truck and down. It was only, I'm going to say maybe, like you would say here, from here to Avenel. You know, so
just a couple miles.
Couple of miles, you know, it's spread out. So I got the 15 admin company. What do I see? See, this is at the base of the hill. Right at the top of the hill, we have a great big, huge 1st Air Calvary patch painted on the boulder up there,
okay.
where you can see it for miles. And I said, what is that for? So they can know where we're at?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
You
Sure.
know, but anyway, at this side, and there, that's the 1st Air Cavalry. Now there's different units to the cavalry, and there's, and I was in admin company. That is where they keep the records and all that stuff,
sure.
administration. So anyway, but then on the other side of this mountain, we have cleared so much land. They made a runway there where C-130s would come in, and then we had helicopters, because the 1st Air Cavalry was helicopters.
Yep.
And they would go and pick up their troops and then go wherever they had to go. So it was a big, huge place. But we were on the ground. When we first got there, Cameron Bay was good. We were sleeping in the building. But when we got to On K, you were sleeping in the pup tent, two to a tent.
And
Then we put 2 or 3 together. Oh, and the rain! It's a monsoon. You get washed out every night. You got to dig a ditch around your tent.
Right, you drained a ditch, sure.
Every night, and you had to put it at least a foot or deeper. And I'm telling you, when the rain came, it would fill that right up and wash you right out. So it was, if you die from the heat, you died from the rain. The rain was something else. When it rained, it called the monsoon season.
Right.
It was bad. So here's what I did. I got tired of that, being washed out every day. And they started getting bigger tents where 5 and 6 guys could fit in. And I said, listen, and the 105 Hollisters were behind us. They were always shooting. They were always shooting. So there's plenty of ammo boxes around there. And crates. And I'm looking, I'm saying, they have nails. I had to bend the nails and straighten them all out. And I decided, let's put a floor in here. We'll lift this right off the floor.
Wow.
And this way, when the rain comes, even if it fills the ditch, we're still up another 4 inches. We won't get washed out. So I did that. We did it for our tent. A colonel come by, inspecting some of us, the Hollisters and all of that, because we were there. And he says, who did this? And I'm saying, oh, shit.
Oh boy.
Well, here it comes. So I told him I did it. I took the ammo boxes from the 105s. First he says, that's government property.
Sure.
I said, yes, but aren't we government property?
Oh, good answer.
So, and he says, I like that idea. How about you do it for everybody? And that started it. Then they found out that this was long before we started building things, because everybody was eating. When you eat, here's how the mess hall was. You had garbage cans full of water. You had these heaters that go down inside the garbage can that heats the water. And that's how you were cooking. Like if they cooked anything, it was all done on those. We ate plenty of sea rations.
Oh boy, I bet.
We had plenty. The best was the peanut butter.
Oh, that bodes well for that chow, yeah.
So, because otherwise they would just make stews and stuff like that in that, because of the bucket. And that's how, once they cooked, then that's how you cleaned your utensils, because everybody had their little, I forget what it's called, but your knife and fork and this tray that would open up.
Aluminum trays.
Yeah. And that's how you would wash them, in those hot water buckets.
Same cooking water.
Yeah, same cooking water.
Because,
hey, we had no water. That's why it was better to drink beer, because the water you couldn't drink.
Right, yeah.
But they started bringing in big blivets that they fill with water. They started to make their purified water there for us. So that's what we did. We started able to get water, but it was hot water.
But it was palatable.
But it was drinkable. It kept you going. And same thing with showers. There was no running water, nothing. We actually had to take 55-gallon drums. We got the guys from engineering to weld them together, and we put holes in the bottom. So when the water truck came, this is with brown water. That means you couldn't drink it. They pump it up into these buckets, and you would go in there, turn that on, take your shower, shut it off, and
whatever the
out.
Temperature is, that's what you get.
That's what it was. It was, it wasn't like home.
No.
It wasn't like home. So, and I'm telling you, I go to schools too, and that's what I tell the kids about, and they're really interested in. I go to elementary schools, I go to high schools and stuff. Okay, but let's get back to...
No, that's fine. Now, you went on missions.
Yes.
You'd go on missions.
Listen, first of all, everybody's a soldier.
Correct.
You
have a job, but you are a soldier.
You are a soldier first, and then you have something else to do. So we did sweeps. Every week you had to do a sweep around the whole complex. Now, we're talking about maybe 6 miles to go completely around. Because, listen, they tried to knock out the helicopters from the next hill. And they would mortar us every other night.
And it was always at night.
Always at night, because if you know a mortar, if you drop it down the tube and then it's gone, there's no flash.
Right.
The flash is on the ground. So, like if you shoot a rifle, there's a flash here, so we could find them. But so they always tried to hit the helicopters. But they would move them, you know, every other day.
Yeah, once you figured out where it was coming from, the next,
And so I did do the sweeps, and if you found a hole where they would put this bamboo sticks in there, because if a soldier steps in it, here's what happened. He gets hurt. Now he can't walk. So you need another soldier to help carry him. So now you knock two soldiers out of,
out of commission.
So we had to go and cut those stakes off if we found them, and then fill those holes back up. And I'm telling you, you dig a foot down in no matter, even if you're going up a hill, dig a foot and a half, 2 foot down, and you hit water.
Right.
Because there's water over there, and you sweat like anything over there, you know. And like I said, I had to be buttoned up because I wasn't getting sunburned, and I wasn't going to be court-martialed for a stupid sunburn.
That's right, yeah.
Because they and what it is, they take your money.
Oh,
you get fined.
You get fined. Damage of government property. Absolutely.
You get fined. So, but then.
Was there any towns nearby, or?
Yes, there was. I really didn't get to go there too many times, because during our week work, when we did get time off, we didn't know when we got time off. So at the morning count, that's when they would tell you, okay, today you've got a half hour, you can go to town.
Half hour?
Well, half a day. I'm sorry.
Half a day. Only 4 hours.
Yeah, half a day. But you had to be back by, at 6 o'clock. You know, if you left at 1, you had to be back at 6.
That's not a liberty. That's so. How would the natives in the villages
actually the town people? They were nice. They were nice. There was no young ones. Meaning
they were all fighting.
Our age.
Right.
They were females and old people and women and kids, you know. And I'm telling you, I went to town and I'm watching them, you know. Everybody wants to sell you everything.
Oh, sure.
So, but anyway, I watched the one market. This amazed me. And you know, they have eggs lined up. Like if you want to buy an egg. Okay. And I said, well, what is that egg? And you know, you don't understand their language too much.
Right.
And one person there that does understand said, oh, no, good, you know, eat. I said, no, I buy, you eat. Would you believe there's a bird in there with the little feathers and everything, and they gobble it right down.
Protein, sure.
I said, that's not, not an egg to me.
No.
I'm not cracking an egg open and find a bird in there to eat.
The chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
unbelievable. But I would have a banana.
Safe. Banana would
I
be
knew
safe.
what that was. But the people, they were nice. They were nice. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of men or boys around.
Conscription.
Because most of them were taken away by the Viet Cong and stuff. And what really struck me funny, going to town towards the end of my tour, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but the kids would be wanting to read and stuff, and you show them how to read.
Oh, really?
They're going to school how to read and color and do books like that.
Sure.
And then if you come back in a month or so and you see the same kid, they don't have fingers or something because the Viet Cong would just cut them right off.
Oh,
so they
boy.
couldn't carry their books or color. But that was the terrible side of it.
Sure.
But okay, in my on K there. Oh, I did get to see Roy Rogers
I was
and
going to
Dale
say,
Evans.
did you get any Bob Hope shows?
Yeah, I
or-
didn't get to see Bob Hope, but I did see Joey Heatherton.
Oh, wow, okay.
She had legs that,
And Roy Rogers
yeah,
and
Roy Rogers,
Dale.
Dale Evans, and there was a few more that came through because I was at the admin company, so they would have to come through there
Right,
before
okay,
they could
makes
get
sense.
out into the field to do a show or so.
Wow, makes
So I met a lot of them.
Now, you met a fairly important general there also.
Yeah, General Westmoreland.
Wow.
I spoke to him. He came into our, it's just like our mayor comes into our senior center.
Right.
Everybody cheers him on. The General, he landed his helicopter right at our base. He had to come in for something. I met him. He was having a house built. And he was asking for people to.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
So I helped on that, so a little bit. But I met him, so, and I saw the house. I visited the house in the helicopter,
Wow.
So, but other than that, and before we get off of him, and I'm telling you what, when I was home after all of this, about 4 years ago, I went to West Point for a visit, for a tour, and I was touring the graveyard, and right where they were explaining about this people, that people, his grave was right there.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
General Westmoreland?
Yeah,
Wow.
I had to tell my wife, I said, there's the general that I was with in Vietnam. So I did meet him hand to hand.
So your being a carpenter was of a benefit.
Actually, it was. Like I say, I'm telling you, once I got to 15 Admin Company and they found out what I could do, it seems like they hid me.
Okay.
I was really supposed to go to an engineering company, maybe to build bridges or something, because they get blown up all the time.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, they really took care of me for the next months, because then we went on, we built the cafeteria.
Okay.
A big cafeteria, so we can handle almost 200 men troops coming in to feed, because the kitchen was in the middle and we had the two big mess halls on both sides. So and it's strange because you think of building a building.
Right. It's a box.
We're building. All we're doing is putting up 2x4s, strengthen them, and then on the outside you run screen from top to bottom.
Sure.
Just on the bottom you put louvers, and then you put rafters and a metal roof. So because it's so hot there, you still get the breeze and you don't get the bugs.
Right. Sure, the screening
So at least,
helps that.
and I'm telling you, so many was thanking us for doing that, coming in just to sit in there.
Have a meal without a bug.
Yeah, just without the bugs, because you're trying to eat off these trays, and
Who knows what's going to land on it?
yeah.
I guess with the carpentry, they kept you busy enough. Were you able to get R&R at all?
No. I put in for it.
Oh, sure.
I put in for it. First they told me, well, that's going to cost you so much money. I said, so what?
Yeah.
And I said, so what? Then they came up and they told me I was too valuable to go.
So you've got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah,
sure. Balance
so
that.
then, I really felt bad. But then I'm saying, they did keep me here all this time.
Yeah.
And I see the other guys coming in from the field. I'm telling you, the uniforms were ripped. completely, just rags they come back with, because the elephant grass over there is like a razor. You walk through it, it just shreds your uniform. And they have to go and dive in it and lay down in it.
Yeah, but going into the holes with the spikes. Sure.
Yeah, and then with the boots, the people in the fields were getting new outfits and boots. I'm going to say at least once a month.
Wow, that's fairly dramatic. That's quite a bit.
Unbelievable, because I saw them coming through. They come in. They're covered from head to toe with dirt.
Yeah.
Dirt
clothes.
The clothes. They have to take them off and just throw them out. There's no saving that stuff.
Now the normal tour there was 12 months?
The normal tour was 12 months. Actually, I got there, and as we were getting close, because they wanted more men. That's when they started building up more men.
The build up, okay.
Before the 10 offensive.
Right.
See, that was the big one.
Yeah.
So, but I'm telling you, so they offered me a deal. They offered everybody deals. They said, if you only got less than 6 months to go, you can extend here, and when you get to California, you could ETS out of the service.
That's very tempting.
And I'm saying, well, listen, I talked to a lot of guys that were in the field. No way in heck they were going to.
They're going home. Yes. Get me home.
Get me out of here.
Right.
Anything's better. But I only had, I think, 4 months or 5 months to go. So they offered me. I went down to the administration. They said, "Well, you only have to spend a month and a half." And where I was.
Sure.
Knowing that the lieutenants and the captains and the colonels, they all knew me there, I'm saying, what's an extra month and a half?
Yeah. I could get through it.
Right, because actually the real danger was whenever we got mortared. Because if we got mortared, we would all have to put all your gear on and go out on the side of the hill or down here and sleep outside. And so I'm saying,
leave your regular encampment and go.
Yeah.
How often was that? Was that?
Oh, sometimes that happened 3 or 4 times a week.
Oh, wow.
But then they were able to push the jungle back with the I'm trying to think of the napalm, not napalm.
Yeah.
No, it's anyway, what burns down the jungle.
Not Agent Orange? No, that's not that.
No, that was just that was the spray.
Yeah.
But this was the. Off the top of my head, I can't think of it.
But
right
anyhow,
now.
you were able to put them back. But it was three times a week.
Yeah, push the jungle back from our perimeter, and then it was better. It was better.
Right.
So.
Okay, so you're going to ETS.
Yeah,
You're coming home.
I'm coming home.
How were you treated when did you land in Oakland or?
Yeah, we landed in Oakland. Actually, we stayed in Oakland about maybe 3 days. By the time we processed out of the service, because the guys that were going home, but were going to go to a different base,
right,
they had priority. So they got on the shuttles and stuff. They had priority.
They had orders to go to, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but when we ETS'd out, we had to go, you can fly standby, because this is going to be all on, public transportation, the regular airplanes.
Commercial flights, sure.
Yeah, commercial flights. So anyway, they dropped us at the airport, and they said, it's up to you, how you want to get home.
They were dead set on getting you there, but you're on your own now, buddy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I bought a ticket, standby was like, say like $60. But if you bought your ticket, it was like close to $200 to fly home. And you know, we're pacing, and there's no flight until the next morning.
Oh boy.
The first flight, I think, is about 10 o'clock or so.
Talk about anxiety, sure.
So we're there. They dropped us off maybe around midnight. So we're there. We're pacing. We're pacing. We're walking. You sure we should fly standby? Maybe there's not enough people on that plane. Maybe there's too many people that we can't get on there, and then we have to wait for the next one. And the next one would be 8 hours after this. So I ended up buying a ticket to go home. But I'll tell you what, when I got here in Newark, they didn't like me. I actually went to the store. They bought a coat.
To hide your uniform.
Yeah, they were telling us we're baby killers.
You just served your country.
Yeah.
And this is what you return to.
Right. So I ended up, the 6 of us got together. We got a cab because some of them were getting off in Elizabeth, and see, we more or less lived all in Elizabeth.
Okay.
So some of them got off on Broad Street. Some of them got off down the port. And we got this cab to take us home, and like I tell you, I'm telling you, I had to walk like 3 blocks. That was a long 3 blocks, because I'm telling you, they're hollering at you. It was unbelievable, and I guess that's why we never talked about this stuff for almost 35 years.
Sure. The welcome home was just started now for Vietnam.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but other than that, once I got home, then I got involved with the VFW. I joined right away.
Good.
Right after that.
That's our blessing, is having you on board. Sure.
Yeah. So I joined right away. Well, you know, then I got married and had kids, so you really
got a job. Yeah, you're back home. Life is good.
So anyway, but that's what it was. So we're back working and got a job. But once I got close to retirement, that's when I really went back to the VFW. And I'm telling everybody that ever went through any kind of service, that they should join anything. The VFW, the American Legion. You're going to find so many things that are out there that could help you.
The service officers are tremendous.
Absolutely.
For burial, loans,
yes,
medical. It's I'm glad you brought that up. We urge every veteran to join American Legion, VFW.
Every one of them.
Yes, and you've been a commander for I think for life.
Actually, you know, when I did become commander, they said they weren't putting a year on my hat, because normally they put a year on your hat.
Just forever.
I said, wait a minute, isn't this only for 1 year, right? I'll take it maybe 2 or 3.
Sure.
But it's been since 2003 now.
Oh, wow. Oh, God bless you.
But anyway, well, the other commander was there. He was commander for 25 years.
It's that what happens to commanders of VFW and American Legion posts once you get that position.
Unbelievable.
It's a
but yeah, so but I do go to schools. I talk to the kids now. It's really good. The elementary kids, they love how did you wash? How did you what did you eat?
They're inquisitive.
Yeah. But I get to the high school, You know, I tell you what, it was take a vet to school one day. This was in Old Bridge, I know, outside of town, but I have friends.
Yep.
They took me to school. And some of the kids there were really nice. I showed them pictures of me. Like I'm saying, I say, look at me, look at you. When I was your age, that's when
This is what I was doing. Yeah.
they took me right out.
This is where
and
I was.
Went right into the service.
Yeah.
So they can't believe that you were a young kid.
You're a kid. Yep.
You know, and they put you right in the Army. How did they do that? Your mom didn't say nothing?
Mommy didn't come and get you?
So anyway, but yeah, and the older kids, they were good, except there's a couple of wise kids all the time. They want to know how many people you
There's
kill,
always how many did you kill,
what
yes.
kind of weapons you have, and stuff like
How
that.
big was the gun? That was sure.
Yeah, what unbelievable.
Bill,
So,
it's been tremendous. Thank you very much. I'm sure you've heard it before. In my mind, you're a hero, what you went through for our countries, and thank you very much for your service.
Well, what I did was take the guys not sleeping on the ground, and then I feel that's what I've done.
It's a wonderful thing. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Bill, thank you very much. We'll see you again on the next Movie Project.